So I'm showing just a few minutes after 4 Pacific time. So that's 7 Eastern time. Friday evening. What does that mean to you? It means to me that we'll probably be doing a 7 p.m. Friday smoke for John for a while. That's my guess. I was going to do it outside, but dang, it's windy. We're getting a change in the weather here on the West Coast, and it's supposed to be a stormy one. So, I looked. I don't have any haunted bookshop, thank God. I remember smoking it, and it was like, what is this? Rope that's been under somebody's arm on a hot summer day. It was not pleasant, I didn't think. So instead, the next worst thing is I just popped a tin of Old Joe Krantz, complete with dent. It came that way. Back in 2008 it came to me. It's still pretty moist. Dang. Has a bit of a I don't know. Words aren't serving me well. But this is interesting. This was the inside of the little paper thing. Do you see all those little nubbles on there? It's like little chemical deposits. It's kind of its own little desert salt pan or something. Do I dare? Am I going to die if I lick one of these? Not much flavor. I was thinking it was sugars, but the tobacco is not similarly afflicted. It just looks like tobacco. So that could have been some crazy crap from on the paper as part of the paper process. I don't know. Oh, John, why are we doing this? Because we love you, man. That's why. Isn't that funny how you can... You know, I was talking with one of my coworkers who was gone all week at a meeting last week. So he came back today and we were catching up. Great guy. And he was saying how Kobe Bryant's death had a big impact on him. He lived in LA for years and was a diehard Lakers fan. This, by the way, is a Savinelli. It's like kind of the world's smallest bulldog Savinelli. In great shape because I almost never smoke it. What is it? A Savinelli La Corta 510C. All right then. It's a Savinelli, John. I'm trying, okay? And this Old Joe Krantz, which could kill me, from what I've read. But it's probably the closest thing to haunted bookshop I can come up with. I looked on my shelf and I thought I had a tin of haunted bookshop and it might be in there somewhere, but I'm going to take the whole bookshelf apart just to find it. And I couldn't quite, in my mind, place it, you know, so maybe that was just some fantastical thing I had in my mind. So, John, this is like raising a glass to you. Sitting here in the Dodge. I never use the ashtray. No wonder it's full of junk. Okay, we won't use that. I'm out in the parking lot at work. Hopefully the windows are tinted dark enough that I have some privacy. It's like, and the fire pager goes off.
1984, offer wires down, 3 trees leaning onto power lines. About 4 feet off the ground at Northeast Falcon Ridge Lane and Port Gamble Road Northeast, engine 84.
Okay. It's going to be that kind of night. Wires down. Power's already been out a couple of times. So this Old Joe Krantz. Now see, these early tins of Cornell and Deal, they didn't really put focus. Yes. Dual pixel focus. This is a Canon M100. So, yeah. They didn't, look at that dent. Yes. 07. 11/29/07 is when this is packed. Okay. So, it should be better with age. It should be mellowed with age. So maybe it's not as horrific as people have said it is. Out. So what would John be doing just now? He'd be online, people would be typing in, he'd be ringing up the tip jar, he'd be his jolly self, jolly deadpan self, that kind of special quality he had. Funny, but deadpan. But you know, life goes on for all of us. And I obviously didn't pack that very well. Just whistling a little bit. And for a burley, I thought it would just like burn like gangbusters, but it's kind of damp. Even after, what? 13 years? Well, not quite. Let's call it 12. It's still surprisingly damp. I had some other options too, but this seemed like the most potent one of the Cornell and Deal blends I've got. So I thought, what the heck? And I hadn't ever smoked it as far as I know. As far as I can remember. So we need to just be watching John's videos. Let's get those page views up there. Especially, I'm going to watch the one on the bacon flavored tobacco because that was almost his favorite, I think. Yeah, I almost watched it last night. I binge watched until about 2 a.m. everybody's little tribute vids to John. It was very touching. It was very touching. You know, honestly, if any of us were to pass away right now, you know, we'd get a few well-wishers probably, hopefully one or two. But, wow, this outpouring for John is just wonderful. I mean, it's just, I'm thinking it's taken everybody by surprise. And, you know, there are some women in there. I always encourage pipe smoking women, you know, come on, join us. But it's mostly guys. And honestly, a lot of guys have a hard time expressing feelings and, you know, just showing their tender side. And it's at times like this that if they're gonna, they do. And that is just sweet, special, brotherly. I tell you. So John's on his way. You know, he's doing whatever happens. And I know various people have various ideas about all that. And that's good. That's good. I dispute none of it. And this is not a forum for talking about that. But whatever it is, he's there. He's on his way. And I think we have, as a body, as the YouTube pipe community, done a good job of wishing him well. So now it's up to us to keep this thing running, you know, keep it going. It only works because people get stuff out of it, right? I get a sense, first of all, I'm smoking with you, and that remains my big thing. I know it's a weird thing, but it's like I just don't smoke if it's just me. And I've got some good pipe smoking friends, really good friends. But we don't see each other, but, you know, once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. So that's how often I'd smoke, I'm afraid. So this gives me a chance to have more fun and do it more often. I just am a social smoker. So everybody smokes for their own reasons. And yeah. But there was commentary on, you know, I never really did tell him how much I appreciated him. And I wish I would have done that. And that certainly is true for probably most of the people in our lives. We just coast along kind of taking them for granted. And they would benefit and we would benefit from saying, hey, I appreciate what you're doing for me. And this is kind of what you're doing for me, just so you know. And I like it. And I thank you for that. And I think it would enlarge all of us if people were more able to do that. And so maybe this is a little wake-up call to do that, right? It'd be a better world, I'd say. Meanwhile, the world rolls along. That was kind of hard to say with a pipe in your mouth. Rolls. Rolls. Yeah, well, okay. That worked okay. But, you know, Brexit happened today. Coronavirus in China and elsewhere in the world. You know, just two of 1,000 things that are going on. Many, many thousands of things going on in the world. So the world rolls along with or without us. And that's sobering, right? Sobering but real. So what does that mean? Well, I think that means that we need to make sense of our own worlds. We need to think about, take a step back and not be on autopilot and say, this is important to me, this is important to me, this is important to me, this isn't maybe so important. And recognize that we aren't going to be here forever, and maybe some stuff needs to get done, or some things need to be said, like, I love you. So, yeah, there's some lessons, some takeaways from this, for sure. So thank you, John. Thanks for sharing yourself with all of us and allowing us then to be enlarged by sharing your experience and your stories, right? I mean, I think that's kind of the crux of it. He opened up and let us in, and it was a fun place to be. I watched, as part of the binge last night, a few videos from Sergeant Savinelli. Vinny, you're awesome, by the way. One was with John and Brad, Pipes and Kayaks, over at Sergeant Savinelli's for a barbecue. And it was priceless. Priceless. Just the camaraderie, you know. Yeah. And the world needs more of that, you know. I mean, and it's up to us to do that, to kind of open up and make ourselves available to share other people's lives. Yeah. And if John helped us do that, wow, that's a big thing. That is a big thing. So this Old Joe Krantz isn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it's kind of hard to stay lit. It does have kind of an old socks, kind of a sense about it. Kind of potent old socks. But sometimes the stinkiest tobaccos are the ones that have the most flavor. I'm not sure this is the case. But it's not as bad as I thought, so that's damned by faint praise, but there it is. I'm going to have to let it air out a little bit because it's just not smoking really well. So maybe this will be like eating fish on Fridays for Catholics. You know, it's just something you do. Friday night at 7, we have a smoke, right? Could be a good thing. Think about John, think about the important things. I could do that. I like that. So thank you, John. We're going to miss you, man. Already do. Life goes on.